This is the day selected by the Women's Liberation Movement for a nationwide strike for equality. In keeping with the spirit of that movement, I grabbed one of its advocates off the street and asked her why she supports women's liberation.
The Air National Guard has a wash rack with a filter separator unit on it and doesn't pollute. They were kind enough to share use of their wash rack with us, so we closed this one, and now we're sharing their wash rack with them.
Is that a permanent closure? Will you have a wash rack again at the station?
Yes, it's a permanent closure. We will have a wash rack. We have programmed construction of a new wash rack, not only for correction of the pollution problem, but we also needed a larger one than what we had too. It'll be several years probably before that comes to pass. But in the meantime, there's no real crisis as far as aircraft washing goes, as long as we can use the Air National Guard's facility.
It's tragic that we have epidemics in areas where it's not required. Not that we couldn't have an outbreak here, but I don't think we could have anything like they have in San Antonio at the present time.
Essentially what has happened is totally unnecessary, though, isn't it?
Yes. I understand. I was in Austin Thursday and Friday. But one of the youngsters died in San Antonio, lived right across the street from the clinic. And, you know, this is tragic.
What is the purpose of this booth?
We hope we're bringing Wall Street to Main Street.
The Main Street of Dallas?
Main Street of Dallas and Main Street, USA, because this exhibit travels all over the United States.
What is the response thus far?
Just marvelous. You see, as you can see, we're giving information on almost 4,000 stocks. We give research opinions on almost 4,000 stocks.
Now, the primary purpose of this booth, as I understand it, is to have investors stop by and research stocks at the Merrill Lynch's expense. So let's take one that's headquartered in this building, Braniff International. Can we check that one out?
You certainly can. I'll put it on.
Thank you. And using a teletype system, they query a computer in New York, and we should almost instantaneously have a return on the Merrill Lynch's outlook and their attitudes about Braniff Airways. And is it coming across yet?
Yes, it's coming across now. We call this system QRQ. We give research opinions instantly on almost 4,000 securities. Now, this same service does not appear on a screen in every office, but it does appear on paper so that any Merrill Lynch customer can find out instantly what Merrill Lynch thinks about a particular stock. And this material, these research opinions, are updated at least once in every 2 weeks.
Thank you very much. We don't want people to see too much of that report. It might encourage them to buy or sell, and that's not our intent. This is Jim Mitchell, Channel 8 News, and Love Field.
Well, primarily two things happened. Number one, we underestimated what our income would be from local taxes last year. The increase in taxes this year over last year is something like $1,200,000 without any increase in taxes. Now, this is occasioned by a sizable increase in the valuations. Now, in addition to that, the new salary program as adopted by the state of Texas brought us something like $4 million in increase in income.
Mel, is this an accepted part of the school's curriculum?
Not yet. This will be more on the intramural and extracurricular activities.
How many girls are actually involved?
I believe they've been told somewhere around 85 teachers here.
What sort of training do they undergo?
They're going under the art of self-defense. We're teaching them how to roll and also how to take care of themselves in the event that they're attacked.
Well, are you thinking more in terms of attacking, being attacked on the school ground, or training their students to defend themselves?
Training the students to defend themselves, not so much on the school ground, but maybe possibly off of the school ground in some other situation that may take place.
How are the girls taking the training?
Well, they're taking it better than I am. They're using me as the dummy, and I'm being thrown all over the map with my other two partners that are here with us.
Have they learned quite a bit? Can they really do it?
Yes, they have. They can do it.
Let's talk to one of these young ladies, if we could, for just a moment. Young lady, would you step up here and give us your name, please?
Sue Mathai.
And Sue, how long have you been participating in this particular program?
Well, we just started with the self-defense today.
Well, do you feel like you've learned quite a bit already?
Yes, very much.
What do you plan to do with it?
Well, we'd like to maybe incorporate it in our program in physical education and give the girls a little bit of a background.
How do you think it will help you personally?
Well, if you were attacked or there was some problem that came up, it might give you a little bit more self-confidence in how to handle it. Hopefully you wouldn't have to use it.
You really think this thing works, Sue?
Not hawkish in the sense that we have any interest whatsoever in prolonging the war in Vietnam. No. Our position is that we must protect the present phased withdrawal, because if we get out of Vietnam unilaterally, we will give to the communists everything they have been unable to win. We'll have no bargaining power at the peace table.
Well, there's no question that our wash rack contributed to pollution. The particular incident you're talking about, we had 3 or 4 aircraft fuel spills, coincidentally all at about the same time, and we had to naturally just bring out the fire truck and wash them down, and the result was that we had some fuel contamination in this corner of the lake too. And Texas Water Quality Board took a sample here, and of course they found that there was fuel in this part of the lake. So that was an additional factor. The wash rack, though, did contribute.
Well, I think it's about time that women have a little bit of right in this country. Civil rights have passed us up long ago. And we need rights in executive positions, and when we do have these positions, I think we ought to have the same pay as men do.
What have you done to support women's lib?
Well, yesterday I burned a bra.
Anything else?
No, I've got plenty more, though.
When do you expect women to achieve equality with men?
Well, when to expect it, I don't know, but I think we ought to have it right now.
Well, how about if we let you have it when we're ready to give it to you?
Yes, dear.
I plan to write the members of the Public Health Committee of the Texas Medical Association recommending that they go on record as a committee of the Texas Medical Association to recommend that the state pass legislation requiring some of these immunizations, not all of them.
For example?
Well, measles, polio, smallpox, and diphtheria.
Like their elders, their opinions are divided. Some like it better here, some like it better at Hamilton Park. And they're more excited about having a television camera aboard their school bus than they are about the hubbub over changing schools. One lad who likes it better at Hamilton Park is Stelly Wallace, an 8th grader who went to Hamilton Park last year. Stelly, what do you think about this school now?
I think it's all right.
Would you rather be going to Hamilton Park?
Yes.
Why?
Cause I'm not crazy about this separation from my friends and all.
What do you think about the busing itself?
Well, I think we should have 2 buses, you know.
Does it bother you to have to ride a bus from your home over to here?
Kinda.
Why would you rather go to Hamilton Park?
Well, I don't know.
Another boy with a different opinion is Gerald Britt, also an 8th grader, who went to Hamilton Park Junior High School last year. Gerald, what's your opinion of all this?
It's all right. It's not as bad as I thought it would be.
Would you rather go to Hamilton Park than Northwood?
I don't know.
Do you think you got an educational advantage at Northwood that you didn't have at Hamilton Park?
I believe so.
Does the bus ride bother you? You like it fine at Northwood?
It's not all people made it up to be, but it's all right.
So, like their elders, most of the kids now going to Northwood and other junior high schools in the Richardson School District are divided about whether busing is good or bad. But busing it will be in Richardson. Phil Reynolds, Channel 8 News on the Move in the Richardson Independent School District.
An obvious example of how politics or how decisions are made in the back room rather than made by the precinct chairman and executive committee itself.
Mr. Anderson, how near is the possibility of getting one of these helicopters?
Well, I certainly hope it'll be put into the 1971 budget.
Do you think the money can be found?
Oh, certainly. Really, it's hard to believe, but it's cheaper to operate a helicopter than it is a patrol car on a 24-hour basis.
That's one patrol car?
That's right.
How much will it cost to operate a helicopter? That includes the purchase price.
The purchase price, if we had to pay all of it, of course the government pays half of it, but it's about $3,000 cheaper than operating a car. Now, you take an automobile with 6 men operating around the clock, costs us about $45,000 a year. The helicopter, with the initial purchase price and all, will cost us about $34,000. As we merge into contracting with smaller communities for law enforcement, that this helicopter will be available. It'll be able to give quick service. It'll be right on the spot, and there's simply no way that a criminal can escape a helicopter.
How closely do retail clerks check the signatures on the books?
This not being a responsibility of the State Department of Public Welfare, I cannot be sure, but knowing and working with the Department of Agriculture and having the office audited on a regular basis by them, I assume that it's checked very closely.
Why do you like your beanie?
'Cause I'm a Purple Horn Frog, and it stands for Purple Horn Frogs.
And you are in favor of the Purple Horn Frogs?
I've got to be. I am one.
How long have you been one?
Oh, not too long so far. I'm just a little horn frog.
You hope to be a big horn frog pretty soon.
Right.
Good.
I think they're a big joke.
Why?
Well, they're funny looking.
Well, is that any reason not to wear one?
Uh-huh. If you're going to look funny and something, you shouldn't wear it.
Carl, I feel that as chairman of one of the two major political parties, a responsibility to the citizens of Dallas and to my party to seek out the best qualified candidate we can find to serve in this vitally important office, the sheriff's office. And I felt that way yesterday, certainly, and we undertook to start interviewing some civic leaders to determine who would be a good candidate, and number two, whether we could finance a good campaign. I feel much stronger now that responsibility after the way the Democrats railroaded through the name of Clarence Jones in only 10 hours' notice.
Jim, I think in the immediate near future, if I read the attitude of most Texas citizens correctly and power groups in Texas, I don't feel that the chances of it passing in the Texas legislature in the near future are very good.
We had a large city here affected by a hurricane, and of course this determines whether it's going to be a large job or a small job. You had here a community in excess of 200,000 just in Corpus Christi alone, with about a 7-county area surrounding, where there was an immediate and tremendous need for the services of the Salvation Army.
Do you still have people in there?
We have our local commanding officer and his staff who were there on the day of Celia and will be there in the weeks and the months to come. But between Celia and today, we have had 55 of our Salvation Army officers in that area.